Hello, my geek fam! Joseph Christian Leyendecker, commonly known as JC Leyendecker, was a prominent American illustrator known for his distinctive style and contributions to the field of advertising and illustration. Here's a detailed overview of his life, his work, and we will try to see what techniques he used so we can apply them in our own paintings. Hi guys! Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. And most of all, please comment with the name of the next painter you would like me to study. Also, if you have followed some of my little advice, don't hesitate to share it on social media with the hashtag MGFCPaint so I can see your work. Just like Artfinia, who gave us this rendition of my video about Klimt, and that is very nice. Congrats. And also Marvin Zuela, who sent us a few portraits before and did another great job with this digital portrait of British singer Adele, incorporating some of Van Gogh's brushstrokes. So good. But let's talk about Leyendecker. Joseph Christian Leyendecker was born on March 23, 1874 in Montabaur, Germany. At the age of 8, he and his family immigrated to the United States and settled in Chicago, Illinois. Leyendecker showed an early talent for drawing and attended the Art Institute of Chicago, where he studied under the renowned illustrator John H. Vanderpoel. Leyendecker's style was heavily influenced by the European academic tradition, particularly the works of the old masters and the classical sculptures he studied during his time at the Art Institute. He also drew inspiration from contemporary European illustrators such as Henri Toulouse-Lautrec and Alphonse Mucha, as well as American painters like Howard Pyle. Leyendecker began his professional career as an illustrator in the late 1890s, contributing to various magazines and publications. In 1896, he was hired by the prestigious advertising firm J. Walter Thompson Company, where he produced illustrations for brands such as Kellogg's, Ivory Soap, and Aero Colors. When he was 29, Leyendecker met Charles Beach, a then 17-year-old model, and it was literally love at first sight. Beach would become not only the subject of dozens of paintings and illustrations by Leyendecker, including the famous Aero Color Man, but also his business manager and life partner. Although the customs of the times were not letting him say openly he was gay, Leyendecker was not shy about his homosexuality, representing in his numerous works his idealized version of masculinity, sporty, heroic, and always elegant. He was even sometimes showing in the gaze of his protagonists a longing desire for each other. This may even have been the influence years later for Jean-Paul Gaultier's aesthetic in several of his photo shoots. One of Leyendecker's most notable achievements was his long-standing collaboration with the Saturday Evening Post, one of the most popular magazines of the time. From 1899 to 1943, Leyendecker created over 300 covers for the magazine, depicting idealized visions of American life and culture. Leyendecker's illustrations were characterized by their meticulous attention to detail, dynamic compositions, and bold use of color. He was particularly skilled at capturing the spirit of the Jazz Age and the Roaring Twenties, depicting glamorous figures engaged in leisure activities such as sports, dancing, and socializing. JC Leyendecker is often compared to his almost contemporary Norman Rockwell, another renowned American illustrator known for his covers for the Saturday Evening Post. While both artists were prolific and highly influential, and while Rockwell described Leyendecker as one of his mentors, they had distinct styles and approaches to their work. Leyendecker's illustrations were known for their elegance, sophistication, and idealized portrayal of American life. His figures were often depicted with a sense of grace and refinement, and his compositions exuded a sense of energy and dynamism. In contrast, Norman Rockwell's illustrations were more narrative-driven and focused on capturing the everyday experiences of ordinary Americans. His characters were often portrayed with warmth, humor, and humanity, and his compositions were highly detailed and rich in storytelling. Despite their differences, both Leyendecker and Rockwell played significant roles in shaping American visual culture and influencing generations of artists. Their work continues to be celebrated and admired to this day for its technical skill, emotional resonance, and timeless appeal. Leyendecker's style is distinguished by his dynamic energy, meticulous attention to detail, and innovative use of color and brush strokes, particularly his signature color hatching technique. He was a master of capturing movement and gesture, infusing his figures with a sense of life and vitality through fluid and expressive brushwork. Leyendecker's vibrant color palette, combined with his skillful application of color hatching, creates a sense of texture and dimensionality in his work, adding richness and depth to his illustrations. His legacy as one of the prominent illustrators of the early 20th century lives on through his iconic images, which continue to inspire and captivate audiences around the world. And undeniably, when we see one of his illustrations, we have a kind of nostalgia for the Roaring Twenties, the elegance, the refinement, maybe a few cocktails on the Orient Express. So, now can you tell us why you gathered here, Mr. Hercules Poirot?
Non, mon nom.
The name is Hercule Poirot, for I am Belgian and proud to be. What have you gathered? Look at the painting. All the brush strokes in different angle, different speed, different strength. It is clear to me that there is not only one painter for this portrait. You have all worked on it in an organized but diabolical scheme. It is also possible it's a painting by JC Leyendecker. Oh yeah. Sorry guys. So let's see how we can try to incorporate some of Leyendecker's painting techniques into our own painting in 7 easy steps. Begin with sketching out the composition of your illustration using a light pencil. In my case, I have taken pictures of my son in a 20s, 30s inspired outfit, a nice dress shirt, and a high-waist trousers. Focus on capturing the dynamic energy and movement characteristic of Leyendecker's work. Pay attention to the poses and gestures of the figures, as well as the overall balance and harmony of the composition. Once you're satisfied with the composition, apply a thin wash of a neutral color, such as burnt sienna or yellow ochre, to the entire surface of your canvas or paper. This underpainting will serve as a base layer to establish the overall tone and mood of the illustration. Start blocking in the base color of your illustration using opaque paints. Focus on establishing the main colors and areas of light and shadow in the composition. Keep your brushstroke loose and expressive, capturing the essence of Leyendecker's bold and vibrant style, and don't hesitate to use parallel lines, sometimes like hatching, instead of filling the surface neatly. Next, begin adding shadows to your illustration to create depth and dimensionality. Identify the light source in your composition and determine where shadows would naturally fall on the figures. Use darker shades of the base color. You just have to add their complementary color for this to paint in the shadows, gradually building up the contrast and definition. There are two ways you can do this. First, by drawing a simple line for the thin shadows, and second, for the larger areas by applying a hatching of the shadow. Don't try to fill in the area completely, but let the dark lines mix visually with the base color to create the illusion of a darker color. After adding shadows, it's time to add highlights to your illustration to enhance the sense of light and volume. Use lighter shades of the base color to paint in areas of direct light and reflection. Pay attention to the way light interacts with different surfaces and textures, adding highlights where needed to create a sense of realism. Once again, try to use hatching as much as possible. You can even layer it with other colors. The main point is to reduce the brush strokes to geometrical, linear patterns. Once you've established the figures and the main elements of your illustration, consider adding a background to complete the scene. Keep the background simple, just like Leyendecker, by outlining the subject in pure white first, then fill the whole area with loose white brush strokes. The underpainting will sometimes show a bit, but that's part of the aesthetic. Finally, add outlines and finishing touches to your illustration to define shapes and add detail. Use a fine brush to carefully outline the figures and objects, adding crisp lines where needed to sharpen edge and define features. You can use a color from the shape you are outlining to do so, a bit like in some Disney cartoons. Take your time to add any final details or embellishments to bring your illustration to life, such as texture, patterns, or additional highlights and shadows. Voila! You've created a Leyendecker-inspired illustration in 7 easy steps, capturing the dynamic energy and vibrant style of this iconic artist. Experiment with different composition, color schemes, and subject to develop your own unique interpretations of Leyendecker's timeless aesthetic. As for me, I'll see you next month with another artist chosen from your comments. Cheers and see you soon.